Hello everyone, our work presents a correlation of temperatures and airflow, which has simultaneous influences on human comfort perceptions in residential buildings in Vietnam. Referring to the theory of comfort, there are 6 factors shaping human comfort. They include 2 personal parameters and 4 physical variables. Amongst them, the air temperature has a dominant effect. Numerous comfort studies have indicated that the influence of contextual factors of building, cooling, people, climate type on human thermal perceptions. A group of field studies were conducted in hot humid climates where high temperature and high humidity cause discomfort. In that context, enhancing air movement is an effective strategy to retain the comfort by increasing the rate of convective and evaporative heat losses from the body as a mechanism of physiological cooling. 4 research gaps were found, especially the role of air velocity on thermal comfort and the relationship between air movement and thermal acceptability in free-running buildings of warm humid climates have been studied insufficiently. This paper has been inspired by the above issues and an interest in the influences of contact on human comfort perception. The work aims to understand the simultaneous correlation between airflow and thermal sensation, reference, and acceptability in naturally ventilated residences in Vietnam's hot humid climate. To address the airflow conditions for occupant thermal satisfaction derived from a combination of 2 variables, temperatures and airspeed. The context of this study is in Ho Chi Minh City, the most populous city in Vietnam. Dominant climatic features in the tropics are high temperatures and high humidity uniformly. There are 3 dominant monsoon winds flowing around the city at different directions and in different months. The main research method was repeated transverse field surveys by questionnaire and simultaneous measurements of physical variables. 65 terrace dwellings around the city were revisited in summer 2017 and spring 2018. Residences were naturally ventilated along with the use of air conditioner at certain times on hot days. Total of 256 datasets were collected. The snapshot measurements of climate around the houses were taken in warm and cool months in Ho Chi Minh City. The average temperature over those periods was 33 and 30 degrees Celsius respectively. Personal information related to gender, age, weight, clothing pattern, and activity level was recorded. 256 datasets of indoor climates reported is shown in the table. The mean air and operative temperature were similar around 30.6 degrees Celsius. It explains a warm condition. Relative humidity fluctuated within 45 and 77%. The airflow inside the houses was calm during the investigations, with a mean value of 0.2 meter per second, and its range was between 0 and 0.8 meter per second. Occupant thermal perception indoors in the different seasons are summarized in the left figure. Approximately 40% of respondents registered their sensation as thermal neutrality. Alongside replying into the questionnaire of thermal cognition, people recorded their air movement sensations. Air movement sensations depend on not only airspeed but air temperatures and personal variables. The majority of respondents sent condition as to still and still statements. Occupant thermal and airflow sensations varied when experiencing similar environments. Additionally, the air movement sensations of people were diverse, even when they expressed similar thermal perception. The left chart shows the relationship between thermal and air movement sensation over 2 measuring periods. There was a positive correlation of warm climate and poor natural ventilation that resulted in discomfort, particularly in hot summer. The right chart shows the correlation between thermal sensation and air movement references. Over 80% of respondents asked for more airflow across all thermal scale. Being present in accumulative warm environments in the tropics, most people usually prefer a cooler thermal condition. Looking at the range of little warmer to little cooler, although people accepted the prevailing environment, they tended to want more air movement. The table groups the percentage of occupant air movement references into two bins of air velocity, 0 to 0.2 meter per second and over 0.2 meter per second, in the relation of thermal sensational scales. The table shows that when people felt neutral to hot, the percentage of warm or wind were much greater than the percentage of no change, particularly in lower range of airspeed. The votes for more air movement gradually rose according to warmer thermal sensation and rise of temperatures. The figure reveals a combination of subjective airflow preferences and air velocity simultaneously measured over both surveys. At airspeeds lower than 0.4 meter per second, over 70% of votes reported were for more air movement. When exposed to airflow of 0.8 meter per second, subjects were found to vote neutral. The air velocity of 0.5 meter per second can be determined to be the minimum of air velocity for occupant acceptability. Six conclusions were found from the study. The residents voted acceptable conditions in the warm environment with average temperatures between 29.3 and 31.1 degrees Celsius. The real airflow data collected in the dwellings in Ho Chi Minh City indicated relatively calm conditions that were inadequate to restore the thermal comfort of occupants. Most people prefer higher airflow, up to 0.8 meter per second, to provide thermal satisfaction, even when they were in thermal environments they deemed acceptable. A close correlation between thermal and air movement acceptability of occupants were confirmed in naturally ventilated residences in Vietnam. The occupant air movement perception was affected by thermal conditions in given environments. Higher airspeeds were the reference of a larger percentage of people in warmer conditions. The value of 0.5 meter per second can be determined to be a suitable reference point for airflow acceptability to restore human thermal comfort indoors. In addition, occupants found comfort at air velocity of 0.8 meter per second. Thank you.